News of the Ear Falls sawmill closure reaches Queen's Park as the provincial legislature returns. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bonazzo alongside Haley Perreault. The opposition put the Ford government on the hot seat regarding a number of issues, including the struggling forest sector in our region.
The two NDP members from the Northwest, Saul Mamakwa and Lise Vaugeois, questioned Associate Forestry Minister Kevin Holland about what his government is doing to restart the Ear Falls sawmill and the Terrace Bay pulp mill. On Friday, the small community of Ear Falls received a devastating blow as the town's mayor went on social media to announce that the local sawmill was being shut down indefinitely. The BC company that owns the sawmill, Interfor, downplayed the situation, saying that operations are being, quote, temporarily curtailed, and the situation will be evaluated week to week. Ear Falls is located in Saul Mamakwa's Kiiwetinoong riding, and he wanted to know what the Ford government is doing to reverse the shutdown.
Last week, Interfor shut down the Ear Falls sawmill indefinitely. This is obviously devastating for the people of Ear Falls, where 160 people were employed by the sawmill and represented by Unifor Local 324. To the Premier, what is your government going to do to help the 160 families dealing with the loss at the Ear Falls sawmill?
Speaker, our government is disappointed of the news coming from Ear Falls. Immediately following the announcement of the shutdown of the mill, the Premier and I reached out to company officials and Mayor Cahoot, offering support for the workers and the community. Speaker, Ontario's forest workers are impacted by the weak markets and unfair U.S. tariffs and duties. Our government is taking actions to support the people of Ear Falls and the forestry jobs that keep Northern Ontario moving, but we need Ottawa to work with us to deliver real solutions by addressing the issues causing turmoil in our forestry sector and engaging in real negotiations with the U.S. President.
Mamakwa's NDP colleague Lise Vaugeois then went on the offensive about a similar blow to a town in her riding in January of 2024, when Aditya Birla shut down the Terrace Bay pulp mill indefinitely. 400 workers were laid off and the mill remains idled.
Ontario needs an industrial strategy to modernize and strengthen its forest sector, but this government doesn't have one. Forestry is integrated, and one part collapses, the whole industry is at risk. We knew sawmills were in trouble when the pulp mill in Terrace Bay shut down. We have the best lumber and best pulp in the world produced by skilled workers. Their jobs must be saved. Terrace Bay has been waiting for 2 years. Will the government finally step up and invest directly to modernize the mill in Terrace Bay?
Speaker, people's livelihoods are at stake, and Ontarians expect us to focus on solutions, not arguments. Speaker, our government is focused on delivering results, defend Ontario's forest sector, and make sure the people and communities who rely on it have a strong and stable future.
Ontario's Labour Minister was also grilled over the allocation of funds from the province's Skills Development Fund.
The Auditor General released a damning report earlier this month saying the process isn't fair, transparent, or accountable. Here's CTV's Siobhan Morris.
An unrelenting barrage of questions for the Labour Minister at the centre of a scandal. It's over the Skills Development Fund, a $2.5 billion pot for training workers. The Auditor General's described the process of deciding who gets it as not fair, transparent, or accountable.
And what was the common denominator? Lobbyists. Lobbyists with connections to this government, to this Premier, and to this minister.
David Piccini's been involved in picking recipients with ties to progressive Conservatives who scored low in the criteria for funding.
Openly admitted to a conflict of interest to the Premier. Will he ask the Minister of Labour to step aside?
A push all opposition parties are behind.
I think it's indefensible. I mean, he's essentially created a slush fund for PC donors at a time when we have 800,000 people out of work.
The minister defiant and defensive about the program's ability to change lives.
We're never going to apologize for making those investments in those workers.
The minister says there hasn't been quid pro quo in distribution of funds to unions who backed him or his party. And he has no intentions of removing himself from choosing who gets funding.
We work with our officials in that discussion. We have to make sure we have construction workers on job sites, otherwise we will delay.
The Premier's office says the Premier continues to have confidence in his Labour Minister.
The government has introduced legislation aimed at making Ontario's economy more competitive. The bulk of the bill focuses on over 300 permits.
How we can get those permits either eliminated or approved faster without jeopardizing the integrity of the environment or public safety.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Another town along the North Shore is losing its only financial institution. First, it was Scriber, which saw its BMO branch close earlier this year, and now Marathon officials have learned that Scotiabank is closing its local branch next May.
I'm baffled, and I'm certainly going to make a statement. I'm going to reach out to Scotiabank and write a letter when I get home, sometime later today or first thing tomorrow, working with my CAO, because I think this is absolutely ridiculous. A company that can make $7.25 billion in profit in 2024 is closing branches in northern and rural communities across Ontario to generate more profit for shareholders. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
A Scotiabank spokesperson says after careful consideration, they made the difficult decision to relocate the services at the Marathon branch to their next nearest location in Thunder Bay, adding they're working with affected clients to ensure a smooth transition. The Scotiabank branch has been set up at the Marathon Centre Mall since 1989. Mayor Rick Dumas says after their TD branch and Copperfin Credit Union closed in recent years, losing the last remaining bank is a devastating loss for many Marathon residents, especially seniors.
A lot of people in my community who are elderly, they don't work online and they don't deal with online banking. They want to go in and pay their bill, or they want to do their transactions in person. But I want to get more information from the regional or some manager within the banking system for Scotiabank to understand what the rationale was behind for the closure. But the reality is, how could we, in a community of our size, not have a potential financial institution set up business in a community?
Construction is now underway to expand the Thunder Bay Archives office, adding more space to preserve and protect the city's ever-growing collection of historical records and important artifacts. The long-awaited expansion will improve public access to Thunder Bay's historical collections, as well as employee workspace. City archivist Christina Wakefield says the extra space is sorely needed as they're almost running out of room for their vast collection.
We're adding a 4,200 square foot addition. So it will go into what used to be our back parking lot. The expansion will include storage space for 40 years of records. We'll also have more programming space, so we'll have a classroom, and there'll be more space for staff to process the records appropriately.
Construction is expected to wrap up next June, but Wakefield notes the loud machines outside the facility should be finished by the end of this month.
Officials from the city clerk's office spoke to local high school students today about the role municipal government plays in their everyday lives.
It's all part of Local Government Week, organized by the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Joey Langdon has more.
The City of Thunder Bay began Local Government Week festivities with City Clerk Krista Power and her staff meeting local high school students at Westgate. Power spoke to the grade 10 civics classes to teach them about the role of city clerk, as well as the inner workings of our municipal government.
So this kicks off Local Government Week in the City of Thunder Bay and also all across Ontario, so 444 municipalities in Ontario. We are all celebrating Local Government Week this week, talking to classes, sharing information with the public about how municipal councils run, how cities are functioning, what services are provided, and really glad to share students today at Westgate, also with students at Superior this afternoon.
Local Government Week began in 2021 when the Association of Municipalities in Ontario founded the Educational and Outreach Program in advance of the 2022 municipal elections, which in Thunder Bay had a 43% voter turnout. Some of the students shared with us what they learned from the clerk.
I think it's important for kids my age to learn about things in the city because you should be informed on things in your city to learn how to be a good citizen and be a good person overall to contribute to your city.
I definitely thought it'd be like we just have one large vote to get everything instead of a whole bunch of smaller votes from the wards and that type of stuff.
It's giving you a say in your city, so you get to know more about the person and their decisions, and maybe you agree with their person and their perspectives and stuff, and it gives your city it makes it a better place.
Some really great feedback. They asked some great questions, I think, about conflict of interests, about corruption. We talked a little bit about, some of the changes to legislation around the conflict of interest registry, around the strong mayor powers that are in place, and really interested to see where they went in some of the information that we shared today. Really engaged class this morning and looking forward to the rest of them as well.
This year's Local Government Week and similar civics outreach programs will have an increased importance this year, with the next municipal elections just around the corner in 2026. Joey Langdon, TBT News.
The Undercover Project at Community Clothing Assistance is back for another season. The organization is hoping to top its record donations from 2024. The program, in collaboration with the Christmas Cheer Fund and the CLE, gives coupons to families that can be redeemed for 7 pairs of new underwear and socks for children in need, free of charge. After helping more than 1,600 kids last winter, the CCA hopes to eclipse that as demand continues to grow year by year. Clothing and monetary donations are being accepted. General Manager Vashish Nair says the Undercover Project is a great way to help those in need.
We are living in a community where our youth cannot even afford basic necessities like socks and underwear. So I believe it's not just about well-being, it's also about dignity and respect. So every child should deserve this dignity and respect in their life while growing up, and should be given an equal chance to excel.
Collections bins are being set up at the CCA office and many stores around the city. The coupons will be distributed to families on December 17th and 18th.
Empty Bowls held its 26th annual fundraising dinner at the Moose Hall yesterday in support of Shelter House and the Thunder Bay Food Bank.
All the dine-in and takeout tickets were sold, showing strong community support for local food security programs. Emma Chilton reports.
This event is not just about fundraising, but also about community and discussing the challenges of food insecurity. Chair of Empty Bowls organizing team, Robin Cooper, says it's a nice way for the community to gather and raise money for local charities.
We're here at the Moose Hall again. We've been moving around a little bit for the last couple of years, but we're glad to be back here at the Moose Hall. Very excited to be, just raising money for our charities and able to have this, little bit of community that's a lot of people, including me, look forward to every year.
The goal is to raise $20,000 that will go directly to food insecurity programs at the Shelter House and the Thunder Bay Food Bank. The takeout was sold out at 150 tickets and sit-in dinner at 360. There was something for everyone with 11 different soups to choose from. The founder potter, Alan Moon, made an appearance at the dinner, who will be retiring this year from pottery. Cooper says this event would not be possible without the generous potters.
We have our founding potter, Alan Moon. He is retiring. He is 90 years old. He's retiring from active pottery, but he did make us some bowls this year. So this might be the last year there's some Alan Moon bowls. And we have lots of other potters. There's potters that belong to the Guild, the Thunder Bay Potters Guild, and then there are other community potters who contribute. So we probably have about 30 potters that give bowls to our event.
If anyone would like to make a donation, you can go to emptybowlsthunderbay.com. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
A Thunder Bay resident is celebrating a major milestone that many people aspire to reach. Mike Petrina turned 100 years old on Friday. He was born in Ukraine on October 17, 1925. He moved with his family to Fort William when he was 3 years old and spent most of his life in Slate River as a dairy and potato farmer. Petrina celebrated his centennial birthday with family and friends at the Chartwell Isabella Seniors Residence alongside his wife of 72 years, Elise.
When I used to use a dog sled to go to school in number 4 school in Oliver Township, I was only 10 or 12 years old. I have no real circle. I think I've been blessed by a good wife who's kept me going. She always said, Mikey, we can do it. So Mikey kept going.
We can't say how incredibly blessed we are. Not that we only have an incredible dad who's 100, we still have our mom with us. And we know how rare this really is. Here's what I've learned at 100, you get to inspire a lot of people.
And pardon me, that time was spent with his wife, Elsie, pardon me. Patrina was later presented with a certificate of congratulations from local MP Marcus Pulowski and Mayor Ken Boschkoff.
Oh yeah, congratulations. That is quite the milestone, 100. Yeah, not too many people make it there, so that is definitely something to be celebrated. All right, Fiona, let's turn our attention to the weather now. It is starting to feel like fall out there. What do you have for us?
Well, it's a cool start to the day, very chilly, but we've had some rain push in from the west, and this is a big system that's going to be spreading through Lake Superior over the next little while. Now today it just kind of pushed its way in. We saw a lot of increasing clouds throughout the day, some winds starting to pick up the last few hours, and that's because this system is rotating counterclockwise as it moves in, pulling in some gusty winds with it and a lot of rain on the way. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we started out with a low of 0, warmed up to a high of 11, which even though it feels like fall, oh, it's getting cooler, it's actually still a couple degrees above normal for this time of year. So really nothing to scoff at with that 11 Celsius. But as you can see, other areas starting to definitely cool down. We're in the single digits. Fort Frances at 8, they had a high of 9. They've had periods of cloud and rain throughout the day. Red Lake, mostly cloudy, haven't seen any showers just yet. They topped out at 8 Celsius. They're currently sitting at 6. We've got 5 in Kenora, Pickle Lake, 6 in Sioux Lookout, Dryden, Armstrong. Greenstone has had a variety of clouds. They've had everything from sunshine to completely cloudy to, I believe they had one brief shower pop up. Along the northeastern shores of Lake Superior, touch warmer. They are at 9 at this hour in Wawa and Marathon, 11 in Sault Ste. Marie. They actually topped out at 14 this afternoon. That's under mostly cloudy skies. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, it's going to make for a very mild night, a low of 7, and very gusty winds. Will start out with up to 50 kilometers per hour from the east. That's off the lake, so it's going to feel a bit chillier. But we could see anywhere from 10 to 20 millimeters of rain as that system moves in. Now the winds will taper off before morning, but they are also expected to kick back up. And once that system settles over Lake Superior, it kind of feeds off the moisture from the lake and recycles it, which means that rain is actually expected to stick around tonight, tomorrow night, possibly into Wednesday, and I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour.
All right, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, the good news is that tonight everybody is going to be inside and watching the baseball game, the Blue Jays Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. 1 game left. It is do or die tonight to advance to the World Series. It's the biggest story across this country, and we'll have more on that right after the break.